Hi guys, so I got the Oathmark elf spear unit finished. I think the last video I made it was mostly done, but I got the last few finished. I don't know if I'm going to do decals on these guys yet. I thought about using my Warhammer 40k Eldar decals, because there's just some like runes. And then if you know what the Baal-Tan Craft World symbol is, I do like that one. It's like a rune, like a white rune letter with a heart, a red heart. I think it's based off of like Celtic or Irish history or something for folklore. Anyway, but anyway, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I did get the unit done of Spearman. You know, looking at these guys, I kind of maybe I went a little overboard with the size of the unit, because I thought, okay, I want a big block of Spearman. As I was thinking about it today, and you know, the box gives you 30 figures, and I'm kind of thinking I probably should have done like you know, like maybe fewer spearmen, and then done the swordsman, which I got prepped up to paint, and then left like 5 over to make like some characters with the parts in the box, because you do get a lot. I showed it on the last video, but you do get a lot. But I don't know, it's okay. I think if I do another unit of spearmen, I might do like a different color for the shields, or like a lighter green, because right now they look pretty dark. It probably looks better in like more natural lighting, but anyway. But I did do front rank. I kind of did tried to do like an attacking pose, and then the back rank I did just like stand at the ready. But yeah, as I've said in several videos, I'm really pleased with these figures. They paint up very quickly, very nicely. Oh yeah, the other thing is like the trim on the male armor. I did it in brown, but the box art, it shows like another color for the trim. Yeah, I mean, maybe on the swordsman I can do that. Maybe do a different color since they're swordsmen. And then it occurred to me that I have all these SPQR figures from Warlord that I got, you know, because it was, when I was living in Turkey, it was like one of the few things, miniatures wise, I could buy off of Amazon Turkey, incidentally. So these turned out a lot better than I remember. And I did use the Vallejo washes, so maybe that's why I should go back to using those. But yeah, I painted up Gauls and Romans, but Republican Romans. But what I'm thinking of doing is I might just use these guys as like to make a human army to fight the elves, or because I've got quite a few Gauls, and oh yeah, I gave that guy a Roman helmet, like captured Roman helmet. But anyway, yeah, I've got quite a few Gauls and Romans, enough to make like, I think, a few units, and I do have 1 unit of archers, which is nice. So and I mean, in Oathmark, you know, you can kind of mix and match different factions, so you know, I could use both. But I figured may as well put these to use, because I don't really see myself playing the SPQR rules anytime soon. And I think I've got 1 unit with spears of Romans and 1 unit with swords. And, you know, aesthetically, I'm looking at them again, and they fit pretty well with kind of the fantasy look of Oathmark, because the humans are more like Iron Age or like early medieval, so no plate armor. and I think that's keeping with the setting is a pretty big homage to Tolkien and like some of those small details, because I think in the book of Lord of the Rings, like the soldiers don't actually have any, there's no plate armor like in the movies, so they chose them with plate armor. And I also was looking at the Oathmark Orc and Goblin ranges, because maybe this is a unpopular opinion or something, but the GW Orcs and Goblins, I mean, I understand why people like them, but it's just, it never did it for me. But I like the Orcs and Goblins that they've done for the Oathmark miniature ranges. They just kind of look more, I don't know, they look more threatening and kind of cooler, I think. And they are, I think, kind of more looking like the pre-film kind of art and you know, fan art of Lord of the Rings Orcs and Goblins. So yeah, just kind of cool. And I also looked at I hadn't looked closely at the Goblins today, and the Goblins actually look like pretty threatening, which I found refreshing, actually. So yeah, so that's what I've got. And like I said, I've got the swordsman all prepped for painting. I was revisiting the Oathmark rulebook. I don't think I could fit it on camera, but there's actually a lot more units. I had read through the rules a bit, and I hadn't read everything. But in the elf list, the infantry units, there's quite a few. So I did this unit to be the elf Spearman. Many poems are written about the elves and their glittering spears. The elves certainly wield them to more deadly effect than anyone else. Even orcs occasionally think twice before charging an elf phalanx. Just kind of cool. I like that they're pikemen. So, and then there's also, and then the other listing in the unit is elf soldier. They are the best disciplined, most highly skilled soldiers among the major races. Unfortunately, they're also comparatively rare because they live long lives. Elves also have very low birth rates, which means there are never as many elves as there are humans and dwarves. And it says their equipment is a hand weapon, shield, and light armor. So I guess it makes me wonder, like, if for the miniatures, I mean, I don't think it really matters in terms of the rules, because the rules are miniature agnostic to begin with, but it says that the soldier and the spearman have light armor. Now, to me, chainmail is light armor, but then we also have, in the army list, there's the elf warrior, equipped with mail from rare metals and swords, and they have hand weapon, shield, heavy armor. So, I mean, I guess I might be overthinking it. I don't think it really matters, just as long as you say what unit is what when you play the game. And then there's a couple other units in the elf list that I think sound pretty cool. There's line breakers that have heavy axes or large swords, which I don't know if North Star has made figures that fit that yet, or if they. I don't think the box set has the heavy weapons. Yeah, the box set just has regular swords and then bows or spears. So, but anyway, and then there's Rangers. I don't really have anyone to play this game with, so it would just be me solo gaming anyway. But there are some cool ideas in here. And also, I was wondering if you could do mounted archers with elves, because they do have an elf cavalry set now, and they do because they have an elf mounted ranger listing in the core rules, so that's nice. And then as far as humans, this is kind of boring, but you know, since my miniatures for ancients, for Romans and Gauls are pretty much fit the Oathmark kind of look. Let me find it. The human, oh, that's the terrain list. Human army lists, 97. And I have to say too that the Oathmark rulebook is extremely easy to navigate, and I mean the pages are. We'll open this up, but I think the pages are laid out pretty nicely. You know, and it's a over 100-page rulebook, but I'm kind of glad that they don't try to cram a bunch of stuff in on every single page. So. Yeah, human soldier, human. Okay, so it's kind of the same sort of archetypes for each major race, I guess. So you got your soldier, your spearman, archer, warrior, and then line breaker, which is heavier two-handed weapons. And then the humans also have mounted rangers. Interestingly, though, the cavalry for the humans is it says they're the main kind of unit, human cavalry. So that's pretty neat. I like that. Yeah, and then the other thing, I wanted to do a video kind of rolling up an Oathmark kingdom, but I don't have a printer, and I don't know, kind of doing it on there's a fillable PDF, I think, online, but that's not so fun to watch. I think paper and pencil is kind of more interesting. I guess you don't really roll up the kingdom, but you just pick the terrain of your kingdom, and that determines what kind of units you can have in your kingdom. Anyway, so yeah, that's my Oathmark project. If you're here for the historic stuff, usually, don't worry, I'm not giving up on that. This is just kind of a little break. I have this box of elves, and I wanted to finish them up, so they're just not sitting around forever in my collection unpainted. Yeah, I guess the other thing I wanted to touch on was I wanted to see if there was something like Oathmark for a dark elf type faction, but because the Warhammer Fantasy Battle ones are way too pricey, even used, and I'm not going to do that. So, and I did look at some of the 3D print things, but I there's something about the way a lot of 3D printers sculpt the figures that I just can't get into. You know, this is the kind of style of miniature I like, especially for fantasy, where it's, you know, there's detail, it's detailed, but it looks, you know, kind of realistic in its own way. not too much going on, and, you know, has decent proportions, you know, and I just can't find a kind of range that does that for me, like kind of like quite like the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles plastic dark elves. So I don't know. We'll see about that. That's not really a priority right now, but we'll try to get an Oathmark game, solo game on the channel, because I think it's pretty easy to play the game solo. I don't have movement trays for these guys, but I think, you know, if I use like my ruler and, you know, I could probably just keep them in formation. It would be kind of annoying, I think, but I could do it. Especially since I'm just playing. I would be solo gaming anyway, so it's not like I'd be taking up anyone, you know, being inconsiderate to like an opponent. Yeah, all right. This is kind of a long one. Sorry about that. I guess the last little thing, I did remember about translating that bit of Katib Chelabi about the Khotan War, and I will get to that. It's just I have to figure out when would be a good day to sit down and work through it, at least part of it. Yeah. All right, so that's enough, I think, for me. And hopefully the next video it'll be, I'll get these guys painted, I think, hopefully, and then and I'll show those guys, and maybe more 15mm historical stuff, and yeah, I think that's about it. All right, thanks for watching again, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.